You're good. You're good.
All right, and welcome to the Family of Light series here. This is something brand new that we put together, and this is going to be the Lionsgate special, everybody. This is a fun one, 8/8/22. All right, we are 8/10. We wanted to give it a couple days to see what's going to happen here. So, pretty interesting stuff. In my world, I've seen personalities and people acting like lions, I guess. I don't know about everybody out there. We are live on Rumble. We're live on YouTube, which is Gila's channel. We are live on Twitter. We are live on Facebook. And maybe one other place I didn't think about yet. But, Telegram. We're live on Telegram as well. So a lot of places we're live right now. And, of course, we've got myself, Greg Schumacher, host of Rise, and I do all kinds of media stuff, and also a coach. I do health and fitness and addiction stuff. So a lot of different things I'm involved in. A lot of years, 25 years probably awakened, something like that. So a lot of growth, a lot of expansion, and still going all the time. And then we've got Jarin Kenyon, the traveling motivational speaker, manifestation teacher, and cosmic human design coach. We were actually supposed to do Cosmic Human Design podcast tonight, but Richard couldn't do it, so we decided to do this awesome special. So, Jarin Kenyon, how are you, sir?
I am doing well. We are looking forward to this impromptu show for you all. I think that there's a lot of people that have been talking about the Lionsgate. I'm noticing more and more people paying attention to the stars. So we're going to touch upon a little bit of that, as well as what the true stars, the true calendar alignments are versus the false ones.
Yeah.
And we'll take a look into that. So it's going to be a good show. And I'm so excited to be with Gila.
Yes. And of course we have Gila Jed, or Gila Jedwab, whatever one she goes by here. She is an author of a book, The Center of All Things, which is an amazing title. And that's what we feel like Rise TV and Rise is. And Gila is deeply involved with us. So it's amazing to have us together as a core here for this show, because lots of great knowledge. Gila, how's everything going for you?
Really good. I was so happy when I got the text from you today. I love spontaneous.
Well, it sure was spontaneous. It kind of happened, I would say serendipity, because Jarin mentioned it, I think on Monday. He's like, it would be amazing if we could do a special, like a Lionsgate special, and have me, you, and Gila involved, right? And it just left it there, right? There was no other plan to that, and we already had podcasts going on this week, so didn't really think that was going to happen. But here we are. We're on the air, and we're doing it. And we're happy to have everybody with us out there. And if you're on the chat boards, we are going to keep track of the chat boards as soon as I am able to get a moment to sign into my one thing, because it signed out on me, so I got to sign back in so I can see some of the chats. But I can see Rumble right now. Nobody's chatting yet, but say hi if you're out there.
We have on my live, we're up to 57 people watching.
Oh,
That's
awesome!
pretty good.
Yes, thank you everybody
Hi,
for joining
Hi,
us.
everybody. Thanks for coming.
So yes, so let's so it's a little controversial, Jarin, this whole thing between astrologies, right? But we are in Lionsgate in both astrologies right now, just different timing, correct?
Yes. Yeah. So first of all, Greg, I'm glad you brought up the synchronicity aspect, because the universe clearly bombarded it in my face since last week. And I didn't really want to go into it, but I had several people say, hey, are you guys at Rise going to be doing a Lionsgate special? And it just kept coming and coming. And then Greg and I were chatting about it. Like he said, let it go. And then with Richard bowing out today with design being busy, it seems like the universe wanted to bring it up. And it seems like it wanted us to talk about it. And even though right now I could give you a mental idea of what it is that I think I know or I want to say, but I believe it's more of a divine influence and we'll be inspired into what wants to happen. And I think that teaching alone says a lot, other than just your own version of what you think should happen by going with the flow of the universe, following your design mechanics, which we may touch upon today too, and then showing up for what is being given to you, receiving the gifts from the universe, which don't always come known. A lot of times they come in the unknown. And having said that about the 8-8, we're going to talk about number 8 as well a little bit later on. I think that that's just as valid, other than talking about only the astrological aspect, although 8 is connected. But as Greg is mentioning, so many of us think we entered, Leo back, what is it, July 21st, 2nd, 20th, around that time, which is what this is what tropical astrology tells us, that the planets are all, the constellations are all 30 days, there's 12 signs, and they're all even. And, you just know when it's going to transition, and then that's what's next. And so we know here, the Family of Light family, at least this intimate family, and on behalf of Rise and the Cosmic Human Design System itself, know that that is an inaccurate astrology. So we have to mention that for people that haven't heard of that before, that the constellations are all different sizes. If you took a telescope out and you looked in the sky, you would see a different version than what they're telling you through your emails on your horoscopes. What you're seeing, what you would see is constellations are all variety of sizes. So if you picture a piece of a pie, and then you picture pieces, they're all different sizes. There are 13 signs, which we have touched upon before, with a fucus, the important aspect of ether, the quantum particle, and our life force itself. And then we have the precision. So between all that, which is basically we're not in the same times we were in 2,000 years ago when Mr. Jesus was living and we are in the age of Pisces, now we're entering the age of Aquarius. So you have to rotate the clock a little bit. So what we've given you is what's accurate to the sky and to the stars when you look at true sidereal. And so what happens with this alignment is, normally for me, anything astrological, if it's tropical, I just kind of like, okay, that's nice. I don't want anything to do with looking at it, but that's okay. People can. I choose not to. But within this Leo, this gate, this Lion's Gate they're in, personally, I took a look at that and I said, well, wait a minute. So 8-8 is actually when Leo enters. So it's not July 21st in true sidereal. It's around in the 7th, 8th, 9th of this month. So it is truly the opening gateway. So when we look at it astrologically, even in the astrology that we speak of, we have entered Leo. And obviously, Leo is going to be a big spark of energy for us, a big spark of fire, right? A big spark of leadership, a big spark of courage, a big spark of authenticity. These kind of things are true right now, and we did enter that wave. And I think I'll pass it on for now, but I know we're going to talk about dates and times and what accurate calendar systems and what time travel can represent in a variety of factors, including the number 8. But so we are in the gateway right now. And by the way, I will say this last, the full moon aspect of it occurring, anywhere around the world between tonight and tomorrow. And, the full moon lasts 72 hours, by the way, everybody. It's 3. Think of 3 days. Everything is built into threes. And the full moon is at very near capacity, if not 95% and higher, for 3 days. So we actually are in full moon territory. So to me, this means just as much as the 8-8, and just as much as the Lion's Gate, is that we're in a full moon aspect, which I think amplifies things a lot. And I think that's what some of us even on this show are noticing. We're all noticing people feeling the energy.
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that have been going around my life over the last, I would say, 4 days. Work, I have a full-time job, and that has been wild. It has been chaos. It's not structured anymore. And I feel like some of my relationships, closer relationships, are kind of that way right now too. Very chaotic. And I feel like that is not a bad thing. Even though in the moment it's really tough, and you're frustrated and you're confused and you don't know which direction to go in the long run, when you look back on your past, right, and things that have happened, like you fell over and you laugh about it now, right? So, remember that time you pulled me off the skateboard and I broke my arm, right? And you laugh about it and you had a friendship with somebody from that. But it's like when you go through the chaotic events, if you are centered and you are understanding yourself, you're going to be very strong. You're going to be very, you're going to come out the other side a different person. And that's really where you want to focus your energy going through a tough time. I don't know if it's the Lion's Gate. I don't know if it's the full moon. I don't know if it's just the planet itself. With Gila, you showed me the Schumann resonance being crazy right now. So all those combined, right, are going on at the same time. And it feels like, boy, we are making some big changes right now in people, in their inner being. They are, I think, Jarin, you said it to me. They are going through their traumas. They are going through their past events, and they are spilling them out in the present. And they're talking about it, and they're just roaring like a lion about it. And so this is a very interesting time right now. Gila, you saw the Schumann resonance. You saw the energy high. Are you noticing things around you?
Yeah, you just triggered something in me when you were talking. When I was a teenager, I suffered a lot of rejection from one specific person. And today I actually felt triggered. And I remembered that experience from being a teenager today. And I worked through it the whole day. And I think a lot of us are just, the traumas are kicking up. And I hadn't thought about this person in decades. And then something happened and I was rejected. I made an offer to somebody and I was rejected, and I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh, it brought it back. And I was like, now I could heal it. Like, I'm mature, I'm 47, I'm not 18. I can heal this, and I could feel this. And every day and the whole day, as I felt the feeling come up, or that sting of rejection and the shame of rejection, it was like, I can just feel it fully and release it and heal that 18-year-old that's still, I didn't know she was still in me, but she was still in me. And I was giving her love the whole day. And I really feel like today I did a lot of work. And just when you think you're done with your work, God will give you these opportunities to work through it and get even more healing. You just made me realize that. So thank you.
Absolutely. And absolutely, when we have those things in the past that come back, right, the circle of life, we know we're repeating things over and over with just different people in our lives, right?
It's so true.
We have an alcoholic parent when we're younger. Guess what we choose for our next mate? An alcoholic. And it just keeps on going and going until you work yourself through this. And so this is a great time, it seems, to work through this, because it's bubbling to the surface right now. And if you can recognize and then go in and just start to really, absorb it and say, okay, it's time to move past this. It's time to get through my trauma. You will come out a warrior on the other side. Jarin, your thoughts?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So the gift of the ascension is extra energy. We moved into a place in space, okay, which is causing us to have higher vibrational energy being pushed into the earth. Or you could also say being emanated from our inner beingness. We are receiving that extra energy. So now that we're in that concentrated time of light bombarding the planet, what it's going to do is, sure, it's going to expand our already gifts. It's going to, cause our already abundance to become even more prosperous. All these positive things will enhance. But at the same time, we also will get our shadows penetrated by light, which will cause them to come to the surface and then have to be experienced. So karmic imprints are being released at a very high level right now. Now, to everybody, but it's especially at the point of your conscious awareness, which fluctuates within all of us at all times. But it's happening. There's nothing you can really do about it. And here's the situation, and this is what we love with the gene keys. When we talk about the gene keys, which is your stairway to heaven, when you start to look at your codes, is that things are going to be sparked and brought up, which is a gift, because now you can observe it from neutrality and you can embrace the gift by not fighting or flighting it if you do that. Now, that's not what most people are doing, and that's not what many of us do when we're really, really pressured. Fighting or flighting in an overly reactive or overly, denial way in it, running from it isn't going to really work. We have to embrace that moment, but be the bigger person. And that's what these gifts are about in the Gene Keys. They're giving you higher virtues of which to live within the 5th dimensional Earth. So you can clear those things by acting differently. Sometimes you don't even have to do much. It's an observance and an awareness and then a moving away from, or an observance and then an awareness and then a making a change, which is what the full moon, by the way, is about. It's about a big time for change, let alone other things. So we're going to have these things brought up to the surface, and those of us that are, enjoying the journey, seeing it for what it is, and then making the inner changes and then the outer changes, you're stripping away this matrix, negative matrix that people want to blame for the experiences you're having. You're getting graced. It's actually a gene key. It's an enlightened state of the gene key. Grace is causing us to release our victimhood. By releasing our victimhood, that means that we are realizing that we are one with everything. We are not separate, and we have created our own reality. So it is up to us through our attention, our intention, our behaviors, our choices to make those changes. And those of you that are out there experiencing these things and riding the wave, riding the cycles, you're going to have awesome positive thrusts, and you're also going to have dips and negative experiences. And when you have those, go inside, feel it through, respond versus react, make necessary adjustments. And just like Esther Hicks from Abraham has always taught us, the contrast is an opportunity to quantumly accelerate manifestation. So when you look at the not self in you or others, or you look at things that are, not what you truly want, now you're very clear at what you do want. A lot of this is being brought up that you wouldn't even know is in your karmic patterns. So now you brought it up. Now you get to flip it to the positive, step on the gas pedal into the new intention, and you'll be thrusted forward with with light and dark combining to create a reaction that'll quantumly propel you forward. So in that, the full moon, I want to just say, is you think about the full moon. I try to put yin and yang in everything, right? You always have to inevitably realize you can't escape one without the other. You cannot escape yin and yang. You cannot escape light and dark. It's all a relative movie in between those two dances. So when you look at, the full moon, I kind of call that the masculine moon. Many people will look at the moon as feminine, and that's okay. That's good. You can do that. But if the new moon would be the feminine moon, right? No moon, dark. The masculine moon would be the full moon. So you have full power. You have a lot of electrical activity. It increases your emotions. It does a lot of things, but it's also an energy source for manifestation. Again, from conscious and good, and also from exposing these shadows that, we're cleansing out. So this higher energy is affecting us just like the moon affects the tides. You're made of water, predominantly water. So you're being affected by this highly concentrated full moon. The full moon means all the goddess powers are present. That's what it means. All of the goddess powers are present right now. And all of that energy is uplifting your vibrational frequency and your emotional level and your subconscious mind. So we have an accelerator that we want to ride, get through it, and realize that even if there's some challenging times, let's say over the next week, let's just say that, you might look back and realize you just fast forwarded 3 months in your life in that week because you walked through it. If you walk through it in the most conscious, neutral, and genuine way that you can without fighting or flighting it.
Well, I had a lot of things triggered inside of me that I wanted to get out. So great stuff there and great information. Thank you everybody for chatting along, sending your love. Amazing stuff here. So number one, you ever end up watching a movie or a TV show by accident? Like you didn't mean to, but somehow you're just watching this thing and you're like, I don't even know why I'm watching this right now. So I've been watching this series on Hulu. It's with Amy Schumer, the comic, and it's called Life and Beth. And I don't know. I was just bored one night. I was just wanted to go to sleep. I popped it on. I watched one episode. It was weird. I was like, whatever. I never really went back to it for a while. But all of a sudden, the last week, I've been watching it. And what's it all about? It's about her getting through her childhood traumas. And she has flashbacks to her childhood all the time where she was made fun of, where, you know, her mom did this or her dad was a loser and did that, you know, whatever it was. And in real life at the time when she's in her 30s or whatever she is, she's feeling those same events. And then she flashes back to when she's a kid and that same exact feeling. So it's a really cool time to, like, this was given to me on purpose. I didn't mean to watch this. It was divinely put in my life to watch this and see that it's the time to work through your traumas, to your childhood stuff. And this whole idea of the childhood traumas has fascinated me for a very long time. I'm a very big psychology fan. I love psychology. I love the human brain. And I love why we do the things we do, right? It's so interesting. And that's why I love being an addiction counselor, like type of thing, where it's not addiction for alcohol and cigarettes. It's addiction that you have with thinking, your phone, the way you have negative thoughts, the spells you cast on yourself all day long, all that kind of addiction. So when I think back to when I was a child, you couldn't protect yourself at that point. You could not do anything at that point. You didn't know enough. You didn't know wisdom. You didn't live life with experience like we have now. So when we go back in time to that point where you were 5 years old, where you were 8 years old, whatever it was, you have this whole different perspective now. You have the wisdom inside of you as the parent. You're the parent of your child self right now. You are able to protect that child. So I love the meditation where you go back and you become that child in that moment and you relive it. But in that moment, you're there protecting yourself. And you are the adult in that situation. And you are there to protect and to direct and to get a better outcome so that you can work through that trauma when you come back to the present moment. Pretty cool. It's like time traveling back to yourself and correcting something in time. And someone mentioned 88 miles per hour, like in Back to the Future, right? And Great Scott. So, Gila, what do you think about all that?
No, absolutely. I'm feeling all of that. And I've done those meditations also where I go back and I, give myself what I didn't get. I grew up, I'm one of 8 kids. So there was always a baseline level of attention deficit. And so I realized that I could never fill that need from the external. I always have to give myself the attention that I need, because if I seek it from the outside, my cup will never be full. But when I fill up my cup from the inside and I learn to just, like, as trite as it sounds, I learned to love myself and be my own best friend and give myself the attention that I didn't, get, that I would have wanted to have as a kid. That's when I feel satisfied. That's when I really feel like my cup is full.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a perspective thing on how your cup gets full. For somebody else, maybe just a little bit of attention fills their cup and they're happy. But for you, because of what happened as a child and where your perspective sits, that cup never gets full enough. You could get all the attention in the world, but you're still not happy yet. And
It's true.
I see that in many different situations, different people, not just the attention thing, but other things that can never fill that cup. It can never be happy unless they do it for themselves. That's the only way in. Only way in.
It's really true.
Yeah. All right, Jarin, what do you want to talk about next here?
Well, just responding, it's interesting enough, but last night I just watched the movie I'm Not Here. I hadn't seen it. It's from 2017. And it's awfully interesting, this topic today. But, the guy's looking back at his childhood and his adulthood when he was younger and all the mistakes he made, all the screw ups, the alcoholism. His child died because he wasn't paying attention and he ran across the street and got hit by a car. And, it's intense, but he's going through and he's remembering the positive moments. He's feeling through the negatives, but he's getting through them. That's what I like. And he's moving it out. He's getting through them. And then basically it gets to the climax at the end where, he's got to ultimately decide, and I'm not going to give the movie away to people that haven't seen it, but you got to ultimately decide whether he's going to, end himself due to what happened when his child died many, many, many years earlier. And it's an interesting aspect at looking at forgiveness, which is a gift in the gene keys. It's connected to grace as well, but looking at forgiving. And when we do this, there is no time. It's only the perception of time and our carbon-based realities that have accumulated time. There is no time. So when you're wanting to create your life forward, you're creating a version of you that you believe is a future, but it's actually about integrating it into the now. And I've heard Gila over here talk about, writing your future and making it a memory. Like, even if it didn't exist yet, convince yourself that it did. And that's true fast track manifestation there, really. It's convincing yourself you already have the memory of it. Well, also is the past, to give credit to my mother here as a quantum, healing hypnosis specialist and past life regressionist and all that. She's always talking to me about, even during classes that I used to give, about going into the past and having people rewrite them. And this is true also, like looking into the past and seeing where you hold these impressions, this emotional entanglement or these belief systems that you took on and identified as you, stored it as memory in your body and mind that aren't even you anymore. And feel it through, move to a neutrality, but change the story. Change the story to what it is you want to be. And so you can do this either going forward or looking in the past. But the reality is, anything that we are held back from is not the real us, because we're not the mind, we're not the body, we're not the emotions, and we're not this reality outside of you. Your real spirit consciousness isn't held back by any of that. It's our experience as a human in the body and our mind and this world around us. Yeah, it's energy in the visible universe, and we've got to work with it. But inevitably, we can program it. We can take control, and we can program it to be anything we wish to be. And along with this, we want to use the cycles, because time is important. Even though there is no time, timing is in our calendar systems, the sun, the moon, the planets, and so forth. So learning very basic stuff, even knowing the full moon, for example, these things help accelerate. They support you. It's like knowing it's a sunny day so you can go to the beach, right? Versus it's going to pour all day, I'm not going to go. You're subject to the weather, and just like you're subject to this calendar, cycle, astrological imprint. So by learning some of this, you go forward. So passing it back to neutrality here, in the sense also that, hey, so it's an 8-8 moon, or it's an 8-8 full moon. Now it's 8-9, but you get the point. 10, sorry, 8-10. But you got the full moon moving into Leo. So what does that mean for you? And investigate, introspect. What does that mean for me? And what can I do based on knowing that? Along with being in the unknown of it just occurring and then being able to manage it, is to understand sometimes it's time to listen to the weather. It's time to ride the current instead of try to fight it. And that's what looking at these cycles is about.
Yeah, Jarin, we talked about a lot of things. And one of the things was, when this Lions Gate happens, what does that mean to people? Because people look at events like the emergency broadcast system or the first arrest, or all these terms, right? All these things that are supposed to happen. The quantum financial system, the Lions Gate. What does it mean to you? What is your actions you're taking? Because we look at the external as the answer, not the red pill, the pill, right? The doctor's orders pill that I can take to feel better, right? And we have to be careful that we don't count on that recipe of, oh, take 2 pills and call you in the morning and I'll be better, right? That we internally grow and we internally look at these events as something we can do internally. We can understand ourselves better. We can understand the environment around us better. We can grow and expand ourselves. It's not just sitting and waiting. We have things we can do as starseeds, for sure. And that's one of the things that I want to make sure we don't do, is stall. It's just wait. It's just get frustrated because why didn't it happen yet? Well, maybe you didn't unlock something in yourself yet for it to happen. And I frequently think that to myself. What if we're all in our own dimension? We're all in our own. And when I unlock my part, I get to go. But no one will really know because they're in their own dimension. Who knows? We don't know the whole entire fold of the universe and how it works. So I say continue to internally grow and look at these events as what can I do for myself during this period of time? What are going to be the greatest skills I can learn? What is the main thing I can look at to better myself, expand myself during this event? So just take a look at that, everybody. Gila, what do you think about all that I just said?
Well, you reminded me of Viktor Frankl, that's my all-time favorite book, Man's Search for Meaning. And he says it's the work that you work, the love that you love. But I think the greatest thing that gives people meaning is, and the third thing he says is the suffering that you suffer. And that's the most unexpected way to get meaning out of life. We all understand, how work can bring you meaning and how love can bring you meaning and family, but how does suffering bring meaning? So I say my spin on that is suffering always comes to bring you right up close to the face of God. Because when you're suffering, it's just you and him. And it is the greatest opportunity that each one of us, none of us is spared suffering in this life. We all have the privilege of suffering at some point, and not to squander that opportunity, to use it, because when you use the suffering to cultivate an intimacy with God, there's no greater feeling of meaning because you didn't waste the suffering. You used the suffering, whatever form it came in, the death of a loved one, the loss of a job, whatever suffering that you've suffered, and you used it to forge a path right up to the face of God because he's waiting for it. I think it's why we come here. We come here, we get wiped clean to forget God and our connection, to forge it for ourselves. And there's no better feeling of meaning than having used your suffering to get close.
Yeah, great stuff there. It kind of thinks, I kind of think of this, like you can eat a banana, but the peel you can throw in the garbage, or I saw this awesome video where you can turn it into an awesome fertilizer for your garden. So you can cut it up, put it in water. The water becomes fertilizer and you water your plants. So again, suffering can be recycled into your plants and help grow your garden.
Into beauty.
Absolutely.
Into absolute beauty.
Yes. So that's a great, great point there. So when we are suffering, look for the recycling program. What can I do here? What can I do here? All right. Jarin, when we're going through this time in the stars, this place in space, this kind of alignment area, I feel like we're getting closer and closer to the Great Awakening, whatever that means for everybody. I feel like we're I can taste it. How's that? I can taste it. I think a lot of us can. So this Lionsgate, I think, has a big, big meaning right now. It's like we're ready to roar. We're ready to come out. We're teaming together. We're finding each other. We're getting powerful. We are saying no to things that we used to say yes to. A lot of our bravery has come back in the jungle. So during this Lionsgate, Jarin, do you see it as a huge shift on this place?
Yes, I do. And I think if you pay attention to some of the things that might have went on the last couple of days, you might have noticed, whether good or bad, actions that are taken to create dramatic change have occurred around this 8/8. Fact on it. So I think not some of us know maybe what we're speaking of, but
yeah.
Internally, I want to speak on what Greg said. I have a lot of people that will ask me, what do I think about so and so and so going on in the world, and is it time, and all these things. And really, as I've went along here over the years, I've had to convince myself, as I've accepted it, to realize it's more important of how I feel inside and what's going on in my life. So to me, by looking at what is going on in this ascension and in the movie changing, is based on where I'm at and how my life is aligning itself to. So where is my dreams at? Where am I rising to? What am I seeing expand now? And I know that by me worrying about me, I caused the collective to happen, just like Greg said. And there are many of us doing this. Now we are just like at 9 o'clock, right? Greg's and I are going to leave a meditation in an hour. We are doing this as a group, and there's definite power in aligned intention. But having said that, at the very end, and I heard Marina Jacoby, I'm going to bring her name up because I watched a video on her the other day and it was wonderful. I love her. Definitely want her on a future guest on Rise. If you hear me, Marina, we really want her on.
Yes, contact
But
us.
she's talking about quantum manifestation, but she brings people into a place of, aside from needing to gather with many, many people to pray and manifest, within your own mind, imagine you already are, and all those people are there doing it with you on the same thing. And that one is the same as many, because those many are all inside of one, which is inside of you. So you can imagine that you have greater power around you as you're doing what you're doing. So the same thing is, the more those of us imagine our own lives becoming what we wish them to be, which is what ought to be happening for many of us here watching this. In the ups and downs, we're witnessing it, but also the collective. And pay attention and learn outside, including the stars, which is what we're talking about tonight, something in a way external, right? We're being limited by what time is telling us, what cycles are telling us, but realizing the real power is inside, and not even having to identify anything other than you and your creator or your faith or your source, and where are you and your tribe at? What is occurring for you? But this is a time of fast acceleration, and I do believe it. So I want to say this too. Those of you that are aware of the law of time, galactic calendar, the Mayan calendar, I'm saying different versions of the same thing, similarly kind of, but you might be aware that July 26th was like the new year. You know, they call it the day of no time on July 25th, and then the 26th is the beginning, you know, the next cycle. Well, when we look at the calendar system of how it was adjusted back 500 years ago again, where they fast forwarded a bunch of days, I think we're going to post a video, maybe not even during the show, but we should post it for people to take a look at. It talks about time travel. You will see that, you know, the sun and the moon travel in an 8 almost. It's not an exact 8, but it's a, you know, a little bit not quite symmetrical 8 timeline. You know, the moon's is quicker, obviously, and the sun's is throughout the year, but you'll see it travels as an 8, you know, which is a lot of stuff from Back to the Future talks about this stuff and gives you clues. But in that, there is a key point of death, an energy of quite powerful death and opportunity for rebirth, but to do on September 11th. So when we look at September 11th, there's a reason things have happened on those days. Good and bad, but you can see it. But when you look at what it actually is 500 years ago, before they manipulated the system again, September 11th is August 29th. So when we see September 11th, it's actually August 29th that we reach this point within the 8 where it has this apex cross. So we're like 13 days ahead of what the real time is. So when I look at this, and by the way, for those out there that know more than me, I'm just like playing with this. I don't know exactly. But when I look at 13 days off, and then I minus 8, 13 days, that would be the same as what's going on there, that falls right on the 25th and 26th of July. So even though we're looking at it as 8-8, this Leo gate is coming through, in a sense, right when we birthed the new cycle on the planet. You know, so it is an extremely powerful time of why both light and, quote unquote, the dark side in the game would want to take major actions at the dates they did, because in the cosmic calendar, which they're governed by, even though they can try to make us not be aware of it, they know to utilize it. So they're using it on purpose for that purpose, because we have entered the gateway of a whole new cycle on the planet. And then on us, on an individual level, and with our team and what we're doing in our ascension, we've also entered a new cycle. So our life ought to be kind of feeling like it's in fast forward, but times of chaos, you know, through the coming weeks.
Well, I've certainly felt the chaos for sure. But you were talking about August 26th, correct? Not, you said July 26th. August?
No, well, good question. So I'm saying is, if you look at this video that we're going to share with you, you'll see that September 11th is actually August 29th.
Okay.
Before they manipulated the calendar again, 500 years ago or so.
Yep.
So that's 13 days or 14 days off. So what I'm doing is subtracting August 8th into what it really is.
Okay.
And what I did, I felt this internal
Gotcha.
feeling to do it. And I said, shit, that's the day of no time in the new year in the galactic calendar. So this is the real gate. This is the Lion's Gate to me, has to do with the literal birthing of an accelerated cycle of the year. And where we're at, obviously it's going to be even more powerful amidst the ascension, but yeah.
So in the infinity loop, when they cross, right at that cross is where you're talking about, where the immense power would be, that window of power.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. Yeah.
So I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to do it where I'm going to go plug in August 8th and see what it shows up as in the calendar before it was manipulated. But I'm going to guarantee it's going to be right around those days.
There was the Gregorian calendar back when, correct? And other ones that were...
Well, they made it Gregorian now.
Yeah. So that's what started to move all of our time in the wrong... Well, everything seems to be out of harmony, right? They've put everything just a little bit out of harmony on purpose so that we can't continue to grow. And something that Captain Kyle said on our Rise show on Sunday was also that kind of same thing. They make it so that you just stay out of harmony, that you just stay out of the right answer, that you just, so you're never quite there. And you're always reaching for that imaginary carrot like you would at work, right? That imaginary carrot. Keep going. We'll give it to you. And that's what they do in this 3D matrix programming, is they continue to get you to almost get there. And you feel it in you, right? You're like, I'm a superhero. I know I am. Where's my powers? You can't, they're there. You just can't get around that corner to get them. And they just keep them just out of your reach. But we all know that we got them. We all know we got them. Gila, your response to all of this information here?
It just always amazes me how, like, the dark forces used God's resources against us. And they think that they could outsmart God. That's the funny thing. That's the thing. I think we're at the crescendo of this whole thing where God is going to show them who is boss. And I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that will be quite the moment in time for sure. Yeah. We're looking forward to that. Jarin, is there something else we want to touch on about this day, and why is the Lion's Gate so powerful? Why is this such a powerful time? What about it? Like, there's probably other times of the year that are powerful, but what about this particular one that everybody kind of gets up in arms about, talks about?
See, this is where it's not really my personal expertise in being able to explain exactly what it means in the way that many may look or know on this call. You may already be very aware of astrology. I know some basics, but what I do notice is how much more people are paying attention this year than last year, and how much more that was than the year before. So people are starting to really pay attention. The thing that I want to caution with people is that you really need to take a look at the true sidereal astrology. You need to explore what that is. You need to check out our Cosmic Human Design show and check out the Cosmic Human Design site. And I'm being honest about that so that you can actually get a grasp of yourself, of who you really are, of how God actually, if you want to say, made the stars and aligned the cycles for us. Because if you check all these things out, yes, this one happened to land on a time when I can say, oh, I think it's because we're entering Leo, today and yesterday, because we did. But most of the time, they're not accurate. Most of the time, they're telling you to do something completely different than what's really going on. Even when they talk about the moon being in whatever sign it is, it's normally 1 or 2 constellations off. So you don't want to become obsessed over trying to follow those things, because that's how they stick with the carrot, bring you in the wrong direction. But when you do become aware of the true astrology and, it feels right to you, you can make use a lot of it, but the thing is, we're all so different, right? We're individuals. We're unique. Everything is going to affect us all differently based on our own charts, based on our own astrology and our own design blueprint. So it's going to affect everybody so differently. But what you can know is if the sun's energy is in Leo, you can take a look at what the characteristics of Leo are and then translate to what you would do in it. Same thing with this full moon, knowing that it's a time for, courage and bold and strong action of change. What things need to be changed? And that could even be the junk that's being brought up that doesn't feel good for a little while, then leads to true communication and true whatever else is needed to cause a big change. Or the loss will occur and it'll be causing you to let go of what doesn't serve you anymore within yourself or within other people. So, see what you can do with, that information. And other than that, we have experts. Well, there are lots of experts, so you can check out what 8/8 means to them.
Yeah. Gila, you've been working with Jarin on your cosmic human design, and how's that been feeling to you? Do you feel like you're accelerating because you're really feeling out what's going on with you?
Oh, absolutely. He centered me on my life purpose, my evolution. He made me understand that I'm wired the way that I am because I am designed this way. Just knowing that you have a design, a blueprint is so empowering, and it really lets you come into the fullness of yourself, and accept whatever makes you feel weird is probably your gift. So he helped me to really accept my gift and to know that, my superpower is to be in my joy, is to be in my stillness, is to be delighted by what the universe brings me, to be in a constant state of delight. And then the universe cannot help but bring me more delight. So Jarin is like, you helped me so much. You really did. And I just want to make another important point that I realize that the Cabal has really fooled us in so many ways. And it even seeped into astrology and time and how we kept time. And the shame that comes up in, like, let's say I thought about myself as a Taurus my whole life, but maybe I'm an Aries. And it's like, it's so confusing. And then I heard there was a whole big thing going on with somebody saying 107 was causing a big ruckus about, the humanitarian projects and like the shame we would feel if we were misled about that. And I think we're being called upon right now to deal with that, the feeling of shame, because we are all going to realize where we've been had, where we've been fooled, where we've been played, and to have the fortitude to say, okay, I got it wrong until this day in my life. And now tell me what the right thing is. Tell me the truth. To be spiritually flexible enough to flex with that and say, okay, I got it wrong. I was fooled, but it wasn't my fault. You could feel the shame. You could feel the flush in your cheeks. You could feel the heat. You could feel your heartbeat. And then, you work through that and know that collectively it was none of our fault. All of us can hold hands inside the shame and come through it to the other side,
Wow. Yeah, amazing. That's an amazing point there. And I think that shame has really, really made us go inside like a turtle and hide.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the only way to get your gifts out is to come out and to be fully you. Whatever that means to you, right? Because like you said, you could be running on the autopilot program that has got you programmed from when you were a child, and you don't really know what the truth is about yourself. You've never discovered who you truly are in your true gifts. And then when you start walking down that path, when you get out of the shame and you get out of the guilt and you get out of all of that stuff that's following you around, continually keeping you in that turtle shell, when you finally poke your head out and you start going down the rabbit hole and you start to meet new people, great people that are inspiring you to be more and more your gifts and yourself, that is when you really start truly living. And honestly, I don't promote anything that I haven't tried and I don't believe in. I don't. I'm a trial and error person. I try things myself 100% of the time. Unless, somehow I know somebody very trusted that I'm like, okay, they're promoting this. Maybe it works and I'm going to try it at some point. But I'm a trial and error person. Before I really started to excel on this podcasting, I was also, trying things out on my body. I was a health and fitness person, and I loved the idea of just this using yourself as your own kind of lab experiment, right? So I tried being a vegan. I tried vegetarian. I tried the caveman diet. I tried all kinds of diets. I tried all kinds of exercise programs. I tried all kinds of ways of using supplements, this and that, right? Just trying and trying and trying. Even baking soda, just trying simple things like baking soda. What does this do for my body? Like just understanding the things outside the matrix. What are they not telling us? I'm going to try that. I'm going to try what they're not telling us to do. And I tried a lot of that stuff. And I love the idea that I could go through it. And now with clients or with an audience, I can tell you what it did for me and how it felt. And so, you know, when we talk about all of this stuff that is going on and getting outside our shell and finding our gifts, it's going to be trial and error. We're going to have to go out there and put ourselves out there and see who's responding to our gifts. We got to attract our tribe. So you got to put it out there, and you got to find out, who am I? Who am I is your biggest question on this earth. And so this is what we have been doing, Jarin, for a very long time with our podcasting. We've been on the air for 5 years. Going through different phases. Obviously, we went through the pandemic and went through all kinds of censorship and everything else. Got deleted. I got my entire OBS program deleted. I had to rebuild entire sets that I had already made. All kinds of things they attacked us with. But we continued to look at it as a challenge and a way to expand our being. And if we quit now, we're not going to know who we truly are. So we continued down the path that we believed in through our heart. And that's what it's all about. For me, trial and error. So when we talk about cosmic human design, when Jarin brought that into my life, oh my God, did it change me? Because I had all kinds of shameful things that I didn't understand about myself. Why couldn't I sell things? I watched videos of salesmen. I read books. I did everything I could. I did all the little tricks, right, to get sales. It never felt right in me. I always felt guilty. And I felt weird, and it just never worked. And when Jarin came along and said, dude, you're a projector and you don't really have a salesman part of you, I said, oh, okay. So what do I do? And you said, it's like the field of dreams, man. You make it and they will come. I said, oh. So I started unlocking my gifts by making things for the universe like this, and they will come. It was as simple as that. I'm not the one going out there and selling somebody's product for them. I'm the one who's making the product, and they will come. So that is what human design and different things do for you. When you find these coaches and these gurus and these people and these mentors around you, listen to what they have to say and at least give it a try. Trial and error. See how it feels harmoniously inside of you. And that's how you really discover yourself. That's how you unlock your gifts. And that's what I thank Jarin for helping me unlock my gifts, because I don't know that I would be here right now doing what I'm doing without Jarin Kenyon on my side.
Well, of course.
I made him speechless, Gila.
We're all thankful for you, man, building the ship. It's enough said with that one. But, I want to say that I'm seeing a lot of comments also on, what we identify God to be and things like this and that. And I think it's a great human mind thing to try to put identities to stuff. Everything inevitably is energy, frequency, and vibration and consciousness. Ye are gods is the 369. Ye are gods, not God, not one is God. That gets you into 8 territory, which brings you back into materialism and the matrix itself. Ye are gods. We all are part of the creator. We all are one with it. And there is yin and yang in all of it. So to try to call it a male or a female is like, can you have a baby without either one? No. So the answer is, it's just energetics. We can view it however we wish to view. Some have a more spiritual component. to it being a being. Some have more of it just being the energy of creation and, almost just life itself. And either are okay. Either are okay. I think that the biggest thing here is to accept our individualities, our differences, but realize that we are entering a place now where we can be and do and achieve and experience anything at a much greater rate than ever before, especially as we move through and you see the externals change. Of course, it's going to open it up even more for us. But what's really opening up is our own inner awakening and our own inner ability to learn to use our mastermind and no longer be ruled by our servant mind. And your thinking is your servant mind. Identifying the things that are outside of you, then deciding to attach it to memory, then saying it's you, is that same old way of doing things. The less you know, the better. The less you hold, the better. But the more light you hold and the more time that you use your mastermind to visualize your creation, to put energy and intensity into the magnification and the magnetism of your creation, the more that you will be brought there. And so no matter what's going on outside, we need time and willpower. This is where will comes in, to strip it all away and then to go inside and to visualize what we want to see next, because it is always going to take us there faster than trying to, analyze and rationalize execution steps and what should or shouldn't happen. Trust the experience and like we brought up earlier, the synchronicities. If anything, let the synchronicity be your path. But time on your visual, that is what creates it. And it's going to become quicker and quicker now, where you will notice what you put your attention on will come. And this is how we're going to liberate humanity. This is how we're going to become sovereign human beings, is when we go back inside and remember that we are not our minds, and we are not even these emotions. We are not even these bodies. But like Greg said, check out your Cosmic Human Design. I'm going to say it one last time. It's true. You really should. I recommend it because it's going to help you understand you, of how you work, how you're designed, how God designed yourself to be, whatever way you want to look at it, so that you don't try to do things that aren't really who you are. And you let the universe help you as it's designed to do, instead of trying to do it for it. And that's where the issues come in. Learning where you're masculine and learning where you're feminine. And by learning some basics, you start to have more quantum mechanical actions, and you'll start to accelerate time. And all accelerating time is doing is bringing the space to you quicker. The intention is an experience. It's a sensory-based experience. You're desiring to go somewhere, like a GPS system. So the more that you do that, and the more you follow these higher principles, your space will change faster. Your mirror, your movie, your illusion will change quicker. That's all time travel really is about, which we didn't touch on today with our time, but 8 is the number of time travel. So take a look and look into it more. For me, it's the 8th moon in Hindu. You want to know that you can jump time on the 8th moon. So for those out there that want to go and explore that, that's where I look at time travel, is the moon, the lunar calendar, and understanding what the number 8 means.
Yeah.
Random tips.
Yeah. And in our last couple minutes here, Gila, what would you like to leave the audience with?
Ooh, just to embrace the inner lion or lioness. I was walking in the street today and I was feeling my lion energy, and it felt so good. And I noticed people looking at me, like everyone on the street was turning to look at me because I was channeling it. Like I'm looking at the picture you have up there on the screen. And every one of us can do this. You can channel that fierceness, and not in an aggressive way, but just that you own yourself, you own your energy, you have that confidence. And I think that also helps with manifestation. When you step into your power, you know that you're the king of your own jungle or the queen of your own jungle. That lioness power it just feels really good in your veins.
Absolutely. And I actually did that same thing. It was a beautiful morning the other morning, and I was walking, and I had my shoulders back, and I felt that lion inside. That's fantastic.
You let it out.
That's great. So what do we got here for links? We've got Gila Jedwab's book, The Center of All Things, on Amazon. So go over there. and get yourself a copy. Amazing book. So check that out, everybody. And if you want to find Gila on Telegram, what's your Telegram there, Gila?
Gila Jed channel. Gila Jed channel.
All right. Very good. And also on YouTube, obviously the link is in our description now. So if you're on your YouTube, go ahead and like it, please. And thank you for all the comments and everything else. We do have a video that me and Jarin wanted you to watch. It's called 88 Time Travel Solved. And it's a pretty neat one. So I'm going to put that link. I'll put that in Gila's YouTube. I'll put it in our Rumble as well when we're off live because the live chat disappears. So I'll put that afterwards, and so everybody can click on it and take a look at that. It's only a 9-minute video. So 9/11, actually, Jarin. 9/11. And so that was on purpose. So really neat stuff there. Also, if you want to find me and Jarin, you can go to linktree/rise.tv. So that's linktr.ee/rise.tv. And you can find Cosmic Human Design. You can find Coach Jarin and all his coaching. You can find me and my coaching. And you can find all our Rise and Rumble stuff. And you can find the Friends of Rise, the Family of Light. So a lot of different things there. I believe Gila's book link is on there too. So you can go there and just click on that. Right after this, at 9 o'clock, we are going to be doing the Power of Meditation and Prayer event. That's a collective audience involvement. So everybody come on over there to our Rumble page. We will be live, which is Rise Evolution on Rumble. And we go live with a group called QSI, which is Quantum Stellar Initiative. And they are a huge group on Telegram, hosted by Emily, and me and Jarin also lead this co-creation together. We're co-creating the new Earth. We are pushing hard with our vision as a group, a collective. It's been proven that as a collective, you can change reality. So as a collective, we do this together. Actually, Gila helped us out on one of them or two of them. I can't remember.
A few of them.
Yeah, a few of them. So we appreciate that. So,
yeah.
All right. And anything else, Jarin?
Yeah. So as you said, Rise Evolution on Rumble, and also at Rise Evolution on Telegram. For those that are unaware of that too, it's Rise TV on Telegram at Rise Evolution.
Yeah. Telegram is getting big now, so go over there and check out Telegram. Go ahead, Jarin.
Yes. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Come to the meditation, everybody. We'll see you there.
And then
which is right here.
This Sunday on Rise, we're having the Star Seed special. So that's going to be with Ishmael Perez, who's been on Gila's show a bunch of times. And we have 2 other Star Seeds from our past. And they're going to combine together. So there's going to be 3 amazing Star Seeds on the same episode together. So check that out on Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern. So, all right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining us for this preemptive, amazing thing we didn't even know we were going to be doing. So
yeah,
there we go.
It was a lot of fun. I want to thank everybody who showed up on my YouTube live. There was so many great comments. I love you guys for coming. Thank you for that.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And we will see you if you're coming to the prayer. And